Excellent. Finally. Here we go. Everyone, thank you all so much. Please forgive the delay. And for those that are tuning in, please feel free to type down and look at that. Let me turn my volume down. Type in where you are watching from. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Type in where you are watching this from. I'm going to get started here. Thank you so much. I'm Coach Trev, the accountability coach, with the tagline that makes you smile, which is the foot in your backside, making sure you don't backslide. So I want to share this, and thank you all so much for taking the time out. We can you believe it's the end of the quarter already? My goodness, yes. And so, hey, Sydney, hey, Brian, hey, Luella, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your patience. Hey, Grenada, Mississippi is representing. Please send us some more of your please send some warm weather up here. Yes, type in where you're watching from, where you're watching from. And so since we reached the end of the quarter, I'm going to be doing some traveling. So the next couple of weeks, I'll be off a little bit. Also, I'm going to be looking at the Wednesday weekly workshop to see what I can do to fine tune it. Been doing it steadily for since September. So what I want to do is we're gonna take off a couple of weeks. I want to retool it to make sure that I'm providing the best information, that I'm giving you great information, that I'm giving you some quality tips that you can use right there and then, things that you can take that you can run with immediately. So that's my goal, is to give you the most value, not too much value, not overload you, but give you enough. Okay. So I want to thank you all so much. I'm going to go ahead and get started up and watching from the NYC. Okay. New York City represent. So both, let's see, Mississippi and New York City, great places to eat. If you haven't been there, go ahead and get some. All right. And I'm going to start the recording as well, because last time I did not. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, everyone. Coach Trev, the accountability coach. Today, we're talking about the 4 a.m. club myth. The 4 a.m. club myth. So let's go ahead and get started. And one thing I do need to remember is that as I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and first share my screen and then have the PowerPoint and then share the PowerPoint. So thank you all so much for even taking the time out, and thank you for bearing with me. And of course, I shared that screen. So let's go ahead and share screen number two. Excellent. All right, let me make sure so anytime you see me look down, I'm looking at my phone to make sure it's reflecting on here. And so now what I'm going to do is let's go ahead. It is showing up, and I'm going to go ahead and start the PowerPoint. So any questions, remember everyone, just to let you know, to make sure that this is an interactive workshop, meaning that you can ask questions. I'm going to ask you to put some things into the chat. I want this to be something that I'm contributing, that I'm sharing this information with you. All right. So I just want to be sure that we're on that same page, that this is interactive. There will be a Q&A. So be ready for that. But yes, if you have some questions there, no need to hold it in. Type in the chat. I'm going to ask you to put some ones in there. That way we can all engage. So our title today is called the 4 a.m. Club Myth: Why You Don't Need More Hours, Just Better Habits. So the purpose of this workshop is really about breaking free from the popular myth. And so that really success is reserved for those who wake up at 4 a.m. Now, I only see 4 o'clock once a day, and that's in the PM. So this topic speaks not only to me, but to a lot of people out there. So this getting up at 4 a.m., that may work for some, but truthfully, it's not a universal formula. What we're going to talk about today, we're going to focus on something that's much more powerful than early hours, and that is habits. So plan to leave this session with a new understanding of how to build habits that match your life, your energy, and your mission. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And progress on, I should say. So the rise of the 4 a.m. club, hustle harder or smarter. So let's talk about how this 4 a.m. club thing got started. Now, Now, we have so many people that are out there. You have influencers, entrepreneurs, and high performers, coaches, big arenas, all that. They started promoting early mornings as that was their secret to success. That was the key ingredient. That was what they call the secret sauce. So it was really the social media and hype culture, the hustle culture. This was the ninja move. It was like, come on, get up at 4 a.m. No one's there. You have quiet time. You're able to go out there, close your eyes, inhale the earth. No, that got started as a secret sauce. And I understand, yes, there are benefits to getting up early if that's your rhythm, if that's your speed, if that's it. And you'll see that influence, they glorified early mornings. Get up there. This is what you do. This is all your things. So what it was is the perception was that early equals successful. You get up at 4 a.m., you're gonna get success. You're gonna get clients, you're gonna get results, you're gonna be able to pass that course, get that certificate, get those clients, make 6 figures a month because you're getting up early. That was the perception. So if that's your standard, fine. But when this became the gold standard, what happened is it created unnecessary pressure. And the pressure was making people feel like they're behind if they aren't up for sunrise. So our purpose here is to challenge that. So the question is, why more time isn't the answer? Here's the why. Well, more hours doesn't equal better results. You have to see time as a tool, not really as a goal. So adding hours to your day without structure, that's really just going to lead to more tasks, not more attraction. And when that happens, burnout happens, and burnout is not a success strategy. Does that make sense? Hey, Mita, good to see you. Does that make sense? Burnout, just because you have more hours in a day, that could be more hours if you're not clear, if you don't have good habits. So really, burnout happens when people are trying to outwork inefficiency. So just because you're saying, well, I'm not doing it, I'm not, I may not have all the pieces down or anything, but I'm going to work longer hours and that's going to help. No, the truth is, it's really not about having more hours. It's about using the hours you do have with purpose and focus. Just think about it. You can get more done in 4 focused hours than in 10 distracted ones. Am I right? If you think I'm right, put yes in the chat. Type yes. Think about it. If you've got 4 focused hours, 240 minutes of deep work that you're doing, that you're drilling on your habits, drilling on your goals, you're going to get a ton of things done. And versus having 10 hours where, oh, well, you know what, in this hour, oh, I got on the phone, I started chatting, I started scrolling, I was binge watching this, oh, I got through this season. So it's really about how you use your time. Okay. Next, really, when it comes to it, it's habits over hours. All right. That's what it is. It's habits over hours. So let's talk about the 3 habit pillars. This is where the real change happens. So whether you wake up at 4 a.m. or 8 a.m., the key to results is habits. So the first thing, clear priorities. Clear priorities keep you working on what matters. So when you have those clear priorities, you are able to really define what your day is and define your actions. You can curate your movements based on your priorities. The second thing is the focus blocks. Now, when you have focus blocks, they allow you to get what I like to call the deep work done without distraction. That deep work is when you're going in, when you're creating content, when you're studying, when you're, it could be any health goals, when you're really looking at seeing what's worked, to analyzing what's worked, what needs improvement, what needs to be put to the back burner, what needs to be replaced, all those things. So that's what focus blocks does, is allows you to really create that time to get that deep work done. And the third pillar is routine reviews. And that's key as well. And that's why these are pillars. Pillars are foundational. Um, Pillars are foundational. They help you adjust, they help you reflect, and they help you course correct. So this is part of the system that I use with my clients. And it works because it's not about time. It's about the intentional actions repeated over time. Making sense? All right. I do see some yeses in the chat. Thank you so much for responding. So when it comes to it, it's not about time, whether it's 4 a.m., 8 a.m., or 10 a.m. Your focus is habits. Okay. So now let's talk, when people are talking about this, let's talk about the 5 productivity myths to break, because there are the myths that are out there. All right. And now that I think about it, I'm looking here and going, oof, there are some notes here that I wanted to add here. So there may be times that I go full screen. So bear with me. So these are the 5 productivity myths that you want to break out. 1, less sleep equals more success. Yes, I know, and I know people that maybe they only get 4 hours of sleep. They only get 6 hours of sleep. However, it's not about them because they're getting less sleep, they get more success. That's not the key. All right. So I'm gonna kind of break that down and let me go full screen on that. So let me stop the share and let's go full screen. So thinking about this, because you can stay up till 1 a.m., till 2 a.m., and you get up at 6 a.m. However, if the time that you're awake is not focused, if the 20 hours that you're awake, correct, think about it. If you fall asleep, and we're talking about fall asleep, not go to bed at 2. If you fall asleep at 2 and you wake up at 6, you only get 4 hours of sleep. 24 hours in a day, that's 20 hours of awake time. So what are you doing with that 20 hours? Are they really focused? Are they really driven? Is that something that you're really coming into? No, it's not. So you want to really think about that, saying, well, do I need more hours? No, it's not about needing more hours. It's about understanding that it's not about the less sleep. It's about being sure that you have focused time. And that focused time is what's going to be key when it comes to, okay? That's important. All right. Any questions? Usually I stop and also ask questions at the end, but does anyone have any questions about that myth? Has anyone heard that myth before? Saying, well, I only sleep 4 hours a day, and that's what really gets me there. That's what really gets me going. I'm able to do it, I'm able to flow, and I get a lot more done. I've heard it, but I hear it from those that are sus. So that's an important thing. And let's think about this too, is that when it comes to your sleep, um, somewhere along the way, sleep starts getting treated. People that think about this, they start looking at sleep like it's a weakness. But science and common sense tells us that sleep is when your brain and your body, they reset. That's when you have that. When you have that reset, that reflush, that healing when it comes, especially if you have health goals, your body needs to reset. Now, if you have a lack of sleep, it doesn't make you strong. It's going to make you slower. It's going to make you foggier and more reactive. So the truth is, a well-rested person will outperform a sleep-deprived person over the long period of time, any day of the week. So that's a key thing when it comes to that myth. All right. Now, let's open this back up. The second myth, let me share my screen, is busy means productive. And so I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to stay right here with you. Second myth is busy means productive. So you ever have that someone tells you that, okay, well, I'm busy. I've got a lot going on. I've got many irons in the fire. I've got all that. There's a difference between being busy and being effective. So just because your schedule's full doesn't mean your time is well spent. Doesn't. You can have a packed calendar and still be moving in circles. So think about it. Productivity, when it comes to it, it's not about activity. It's not about being active, lots of movement. It's about impact. Because you have to ask yourself, are you doing the right things or just doing a lot of things? That's important. Think about that. Are you doing the right things or just doing a lot of things? Yeah. So productivity is that. And yes, Lolo, that's right. Sleep is vital. Please do not underestimate that. So don't think about less sleep being more success. Okay? That's incorrect. So we cancel that. That's myth number one. Myth number two, busy means productive. It doesn't. That's not it. So myth number three, you should grind 24/7. That, there's no days off. Remember that? Influencers come out and they say no days off. Culture has, it's like that culture has basically glamorized overworking. However, if your only strategy is to grind harder, eventually you're going to hit a wall. Why? This high performance isn't about intensity. It's not about being here, gunning without moving. It's about sustainability. Even top athletes, they train hard, but they rest well. Training hard, resting well. You need time to recover so you can keep showing up at your best. Just a fact. Myth number four, more hours equal more discipline. So let's talk about discipline. Discipline isn't about pushing yourself for longer hours. It's really about making the right choices consistently. So you have to think about it. Some of the most disciplined people that I know, they work fewer hours, but they're laser focused during that time. They have their period of time, maybe 2 hours here, 3 hours here, an hour here, but those folks, they are drilled in. There is nothing distracting them. They've got the blockers up. They've got tunnel vision. They are focused. And that's a key thing. So more hours won't help if you're consistently distracted or disorganized. So in the end, discipline, it's about structure, not just staying up later or waking up earlier. And the last one, rest equals laziness. So let's kill this one once and for all. Rest is not the enemy of productivity. Rest is not the enemy of productivity. It's the fuel. Rest gives you perspective, gives you clarity, gives you resilience. When you rest well, you show up sharper. So don't feel bad if you have to take a break, because taking a break, it's not about quitting. It's about preparing for your next move. That's important. So I wanted to put those out there and really take some time to be full screen with you all, so to understand about these myths. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. So if you want, you can take a quick screen capture of that, so that anytime you hear it, you know those are myths. Myth one, less sleep equals more success. Myth two, busy means productive. Myth three, you should grind 24/7. Myth four, more hours equal more discipline. And lastly, rest equals laziness. All these are myths. Someone tells you this, run far, run fast, get away. see ya, or just nod your head slowly back out the room. All right. Excellent. Okay, so let's continue on. When it comes to success, real sex is aligned. It's not exhausted. I like so think about it. It's not about being exhausted. It's about being in alignment. So you want to really, when it comes to it, you want to work with yourself and not against yourself. You got to listen to yourself. If you, I mean, you have to think about it. What if your best work doesn't happen at 4 a.m.? What if it, doesn't happen at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., what if it doesn't happen at 5 a.m.? That's okay. Everyone has a different rhythm. So there are some people that are night owls, there are some that are early risers, and others do their best work mid-morning. Important thing is you've got to find your natural rhythm. You find your natural rhythm where you are, then now you're in alignment. Now you're key and you know where your best area is, right? And put it in the chat. What's the best times of your work? Are you an early morning person? Are you mid-morning, afternoon, late afternoon, evening? Are you a night owl? What's the best time that you work? For me, I would say probably uh, mid-morning, yeah, mid-morning to afternoon, and sometimes night. But it's important to know what your rhythm is, because when it comes down to it, it's about energy versus hustle. And so when you align your habits with your energy. And what you do is once you know your flow, you can stop forcing yourself into someone else's routine and stop treating rest as a reward and start seeing it as a requirement. So I'll say that again. Rest, it's not a reward, it's a requirement. It's the fuel that you need so that you can reset and be refreshed. Okay. So let's talk about this, building your personal rhythm. What works for you? So first we ditch the idea that there's one right way to build a routine. Said, let's design a rhythm around your energy, values, and responsibilities. When do you feel most clear and focused? Yep. So I see someone's early morning. So early morning, if early mornings for you, that's great. So then if early mornings, you want to first identify your peak performance times. And it could be multiple times. Some people may have, early mid-morning, and they may have, early evenings, about 6 o'clock. I hit a second win there, and I go till 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m. So you identify your peak performance times. Once you do that, that's when you start your high impact task then. Understand this. Start your high impact task then. Not the ones that you can check off, the easy ones, go out, take out the trash, whatever it is, the simple one, the high impact task. And then ask yourself, what boundaries do you need to protect your time? Because you have to set daily non-negotiables. Non-negotiables, sometimes they do change based on the day. Maybe Tuesdays are different than your Thursdays. Your Fridays are different than your Mondays. So you have to look and say, what are the times that you can set? And so the important thing is that you use your structure without the rigidity. So you structure your day so that your priorities don't get buried. This is how sustainable routines are built. Focus, identify your peak performance time, start your high impact task then, set your boundaries, and have your structure for your day. All right. If this is landing, put a 1 into the comment. Put a 1 in the comment below. Okay. Put 1 there. Let me just check here. All right. Thank you everyone for contributing here. And so as we progress, now that we know you're finding out and you're asking yourself what works for you, you want to say, you want to really focus on creating better habits, not earlier mornings. So how do we do that? One, You focus on intentional action. Because when it comes down to it, it's not about the time of the day. It's about system. So what are you going to do? Let's start with one habit. You start with one habit, and then you add another. You add another. So what you're doing is you stack small habits. It could be journaling, it could be meditating, it could be taking a walk, it could be taking a walk around your house. Because think about it, sometimes, and I do want to emphasize that when people says, well, I went to take a walk, a lot of times people say, well, I gotta get dressed, I gotta go outside. You could be pacing up and down your hallway. You could be pacing around your room, but at least it starts to release some things. You get the creative juices flowing, you get your blood flowing, you get fresh air in and out your lungs. Those are the things that are going to help you with your intentional action. All right. So you focus on intentional action, you stack small habits, and you track progress, not perfection. So the habits that you do, you keep them simple, you keep them doable. You track and you track how often you follow through. You don't need to do it perfectly. You just need to keep showing up. Why? It's those small daily actions that stack up over time, and those are the ones that move the needle. When they move the needle, then consistency wins. And that's really what we want. We want to see your consistent action. So it's better habits over earlier mornings. Now, still a quick exercise. So let's take a moment and reflect. What's and we're gonna basically we want to identify an upgrade. So what's one habit that you're doing now? As I said, it could be journaling, it could be stretching, it could be taking a walk, it could be getting up. Maybe you're getting up to read. That's something. So how can you make it better or more consistent? What is it that you could do? Could you set yourself a goal and say, I'm going to do this over a period of time and then I'm going to increase it? How can this be contributing? And then ask yourself, what supportive structure do you need? So as something. And now when we talk about a habit, it could be something you're already doing. It could be, like I said, reading, could be checking mail or prepping for the day. And you say, how can you be more intentional about it? What's the small upgrade that would make it more effective? Write that down. Yeah, take a moment. For anybody that's watching this on the replay, and by the way, if you're watching this live, put hashtag live here. If you're watching this on the replay, put hashtag replay. That way, when you put hashtag replay and you have a question, you type it in the chat. I'll come back and check to make sure I follow through with you. So anyone that's doing this, you're watching this on a replay, pause it right now and follow this. What's the habit that you're doing? How can you make it better, more consistent? And what's the support structure that you need? Take a minute. This is the important stuff. And when you're doing it, you want to ask yourself, does this habit align up with your goals? Yep, I see you on social media. So how can you make it better? How can you be more consistent? What's the support? Spend less time. Okay, so spend less time. So then what can you do? How can you track your time? You put that down. You say, what can I do? Well, how can I track my time? What's the support that I need? What's the structure? And at times it comes at a cost. However, you have to think that you are investing in yourself and your goals. Let's move forward. So the real flex, consistency. That's your flex. So where does progress comes? It comes from showing up. Forget about perfection. It's not real. The people who win aren't the ones who get everything right. They're the ones who keep showing up. So consistency builds momentum. Show up even when it's not perfect. You know, once you have that momentum, that consistency is going to build your momentum. It builds character. It builds results. When you build better results and you track your progress, you realize, hey, you've been capable all along of everything that you're doing. You just need a consistency to bring it out. You know that small wins lead to big breakthroughs. That's the key thing. Yeah. And I like what you said here, to set time limit. Yes, there are some things where you set a time limit on it. I'm only going to do this for 15 minutes and then I'm done. 15 minutes and I'm all set. Okay. So that's the flex that we're looking for. Consistency, not perfection, showing up, building momentum. That's a key thing, right? So final thoughts. Here's what I want you to remember. That one, success starts with you. The 4 a.m. club is required. You don't need to wake up before the sun to be successful. What you need is structure, clarity, and consistency. The habits you keep determine the results you get. Build habits that match your energy and your goals, not someone else's hype. There are tons of people that are out there saying, I'm up, get up and get up 4 a.m., go to the beach, watch the sunset, put your toes in the sand. Now, if you can do that and that helps, more power to you. Or if you do that at 8 a.m., at 10 a.m., if you can do that, go to the beach, more power to you. However, you've got to build habits that match what you do. And those habits help determine the success you get. And you want to make a routine that works for you. When you build those habits, you're going to see real change. All right. So that's it. That's all I have for you. I want to thank you all for being here. Let's go together. Let's make the determination now to go create better habits, one decision at a time, right? And building each other up. That's a key thing. Commenting here, handling business in segments. I like that. Like that, Lola. Thank you so much. So it's not about perfection. It's not about 4 a.m. wake up. It's not about being there before the crack of dawn so that you can be outside, hear the sprinklers go off or what have you, or just listen to the dead of the night, hear wolves howling. It's about the habits you build and the consistency. It's about showing up for yourself, tracking your progress, right? So I want to thank you all so much. I appreciate it. And so let's do Q&A. What's your biggest takeaway? All right. What's some of the questions that you have and where do you feel stuck? Right. So and I want you to just put that in the chat. What part of today's session really resonated with you the most? If there's a habit you're struggling with to stick or part of your routine you want to shift, I'm happy to offer some real-time feedback right now. All right. So let me just check the chat and see. Thank you all so much. Oh, that was great. Oh, lost the comments. Thank you all. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the hearts. So if you're still thinking about us processing it, or if you're watching this on a replay, feel free to send me a private message. Tell me what your biggest takeaways from this. What's the habit that you're working on? Where do you feel stuck? I am more than happy to do that. And if I can't do that for you now, feel free to book a session with me at talkwithtrevor.com, a brainstorming session. We get on the phone and we can talk about your habits. What's some of the habits that you can do, that you can incorporate? What are some of the habits that you can either improve, that you can replace, so that the habits you're doing, the things that you're doing are aligning with your goals? Right. That's it. Don't try and do everything at once. That's a good takeaway. The myths, yes, the myths are good. Yes, those myths, more hours equal success, or less hours of sleep equal success. You don't want to do that. I know. So even later, the myths, going back to that. Yep. Yeah, remember, these are myths. These are the things that people, less sleep, more success. Yeah, glad that those stood out. Don't try and do everything at once. These are great takeaways, great takeaways. All right. So I want to thank you all so much, and I appreciate it. As I said, for any of you that need some help with that, feel free to get on my calendar. I'm going to stop the share. Feel free to get on my calendar if you need some help. Go to talkwithtrevor.com, book some time. As I said, for the next couple of weeks, due to I'll be traveling and moving on a different time zone, what have you. So we won't have the workshop. I will be going live though. There's going to be times that I go live. So be sure you turn on your notifications. Um, and so that you'll know when I go live and things along those lines. Because since I'll be doing that. So I'll let you know when, um, let you know the result of as I review the Wednesday weekly workshops and what I can do to improve that, to see the information I'm giving you, all that. Because we've reached the end of the first quarter. And I would encourage you, if you haven't already, know that we're almost into the second quarter, just about into the second quarter. This is a good time to start to review the things that you've done over the past few months and see what changes and what pivots that you need to do. That's what I'm going to be doing, making sure that I'm providing the best information for you. All right. So I want to thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the compliments. The likes, feel free to share this. For anybody that's watching the replay, um, as I said, put hashtag replay. If you don't have access to the replay, you can register for that at coachtrevlive.com. I'll get your I'll get your confirmation of registration, and then I'll send you a link so you can get to the replay. All right. So I want to thank you all so much. And this is also for those if you don't know, I'll be putting this replay on my website. So for anybody that does not have access to any of the social media platforms, you'll be able to go to my website and watch this workshop directly. Okay. So I want to thank you all so much. I appreciate it. And I will see you all soon. Make sure you turn on your notifications so you know when I go live. All right.